Welcome back, Warrior. In video 2, you did the most critical work. You defined the identity of the healthy, aligned person who's actually inside of you. Because the truth is, you're already a whole person. You just needed that reminder. So now that you have that reminder, we're going to set the intentions for remembering that person. But before we do that, I want to kind of talk about the roadblocks that might come up when you're practicing becoming your warrior self. So, identity is our blueprint to having the physical changes that we want. But why does our physical body still resist change? And why do you still struggle with the very thing you know you want? Well, guess what? I'm going to answer that question today. So, welcome to the Warrior Embodiment with me, Heidi Morton. And let's get started. I'm so excited to be here with you. So, we're going to start with some principles, and I'm going to teach you how to turn your internal game plan into lasting transformation. And what is your internal game plan? Well, it's the whole thing that we've been creating, your warrior self. We've taken the time to create that. Now we got to start implementing it, because once you create, you got to implement, right? If you really want to embody something. All right. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about this. Well, our thoughts are electric and our feelings are magnetic. What does that even mean? Well, when you have a thought and, your thoughts, they kind of charge your feelings. Remember, our thoughts create feelings and feelings create behaviors. So that's like an electric magnet and an electric pole, like where we're pulling our reality towards us. So if your thought is like, say, I want to be thin, but you're having feelings of shame and guilt around what you ate, that shame is going to be a stronger magnetic force, and it's going to basically anchor in the belief that you're not thin. And then that's going to create the behavior of where you're going to go to eating maybe that ice cream or something to hurry and feel better, because when we eat, it's one of those things that I just lost my train of thought. It's all right. It's okay. I can get back on track. This is kind of one of the things that we're learning about, right? Embodying. Right before I got on this live, I was actually crying to my husband and to my best friend and saying, I don't know if I can do this live because I'm not feeling my best today. And so my thoughts are a little scattered, but it's okay. It's all right, because I am practicing being my warrior self as I'm teaching you how to practice being your warrior self. So today, when I was having those thoughts that I didn't know if I could do this, I knew that I needed to shift my energy, because if I didn't, then I was going to be vibrating that I'm not capable of doing this, right? And I'm very capable, just like you're very capable of releasing the weight that you want to and embodying the warrior that you want to be. Our thoughts are intentions and they're focused desires, and they do represent that electric charge. This electrical component, like, it functions as an information blueprint for us. Okay. Because remember when I talked about that the mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is not? Well, the truth is you attract what you want. If you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, your vibration. You attract. So if you want to release weight, then you have to embody a person who releases weight and who releases shame and guilt and doesn't hold on to those anchors and doesn't stay in that vibration. You want to be in the vibration of that you love your body and you treat it with respect. So to be able to do that, we got to stop giving ourselves those chronic stressors. So when we have emotional anchors, we actually store fat called cortisol. I'm sure that you've heard about that before. So what happens is our internal critic, that's actually the villain inside our head, will, say some thought that isn't true about us, because that's not who you are anymore. You're not that negative thought. And then you hear that thought, and if you embody that thought, it creates stress, and then in turn, it creates cortisol. And therefore, you keep yourself stuck and you're craving high calorie foods and you're, like I said, storing fat. And it's kind of counterproductive because you want to embody something else. You cannot let the stress keep you anchored, those emotional anchors anymore. So when you start to have the feeling come up, when you're having guilt or shame, especially about food, remember that your body doesn't know the difference between internal stress or a physical threat. It responds by raising your cortisol, which directly promotes that fat storage. Okay. So what do we got to do to stop that? Well, first, we got to stop and we got to interrupt that loop of the stuck, right? And we've got to disarm our villain by creating a moment of pause. So we pause for a minute and we analyze that belief. We don't judge it. And then you name the emotion and you say, okay, right now, am I feeling guilt? Or am I noticing the thought that I'm a failure? What am I thinking here? And then you notice the thought and then you quickly change the belief. Like, I'm not a failure. I'm like, look at me right now. I'm changing my belief and my thoughts around this. So actually, I create success. You've got to separate those thoughts from your identity. Okay, because you are not your thoughts. Unless your thoughts are empowering, then you are. But you're not those negative thoughts. That is not who you are. Remember, that is the past you. That is not who you are now. Stepping forward today, you're not going to accept those beliefs. And you're going to anchor them in. So the way that we anchor in our new beliefs is we remember our warrior selves with our visualization, and we override that belief, right? With commanding ourselves to have a new belief. So what I do is, now that I've practiced being my warrior self so much, now when a new belief comes up, I do things to hurry and shift my energy so that I can embody my warrior self. And that's what you want to do, because you want to get in front of that belief as fast as you can so that you're creating a new thought pattern so that you're not staying stuck in the old belief. And you want to make sure that you're embodying it. So I'll just give you some examples. Like today, I was, like I said, stressing out before I went on this live, and I was like, not sure if I could do it. And well, I knew I could do it, but for some reason I just was letting that internal critic get to me, right? So I was like, okay, I got to change my state. I got to change my beliefs. So I was like, okay, what can I do to embody my warrior? And then I was like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know. I'm just, so then I called my mom, and my mom was like, my mom didn't know why I was calling her, and she was busy. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't talk to my mom to get me out of these stuck patterns, to get me thinking. And then I call my best friend, and she's like, will you just be yourself and be who you are? And then I was like, oh yeah, I know what to do. I just forgot for a minute because I was so flustered. So I went in my kitchen and I started diffusing some orange oil, because orange is my scent and it reminds me of my warrior self. It's the oil that I put on when I need to shift my energy and remember my warrior self. I've anchored it in with a visualization, and I've anchored it in with dance, and I've anchored it in with a meditation. So right before I got on this live, I turned on my warrior anthem, and I was dancing around to it, and I was smelling my orange oil, and I was putting it on. And then I was like, oh, and then I anchored it in with my taste. I drank a little bit of orange juice, and then I was able to change my state. And here I am talking to you just like that. Now, in the beginning, when I started embodying my warrior self and started learning how to embody her, I couldn't shift as fast. It takes practice. It takes building that up. It's like building a muscle, right? You have to build that muscle so that you're constantly anchoring in your scent, the thing that you want to smell, so that it's getting in your brain, and the words that you're using over and over and over again, so that when those old beliefs come up and those old patterns, you can quickly flip the script, like I said. But that takes practice. Okay. So I guess I skipped this slide, and I did talk about that, being in alignment with taking action. You must flow from that aligned state. Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, I kind of went off on a little tangent and got ahead of myself, but that's okay. Okay, so after we override the belief, then we must take the time to, well, create habits that are, like I was talking about, that help us anchor that in so that we can become in an aligned state. It's not about punishing ourselves when we have that belief come up. And like, if you're like, oh, why did I have guilt and shame? And you just start staying in that pattern. Staying in that pattern of guilt and shame because you did something that you weren't happy about. And you're like, oh, you want to stay stuck in there. Don't. You want to shift it, because that is a low vibration, and you're not going to be able to create a new habit and a new belief if you're staying stuck. So we want to get in alignment with that new thought. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so the way that I like to embody my warrior self is I have like a little ritual that I do, and I call it clear, create, and calm system. Because the way I was thinking about it is I was like, well, first of all, you need to clear your energy. When, so something that I like to do is when, okay, I will take and in the morning, I will drink some lemon water, and that will signal my brain to release any kind of energetic residue from the day before. It reminds me that I want to start with a clear intention and that I just want to start from a clean slate in the morning. Plus, also lemon water in the morning has a lot of like physical benefits. Like starting out with a glass of water, it helps replenish and rehydrate your body. And if you add the lemon, it helps, soothe your digestion, and the sour taste of the lemon, it stimulates and helps your digestion so that it can eliminate toxins and all of that stuff. It helps boost your immune system. It just all kinds of things that lemon water does. So that's one of the things that I do first thing in the morning is I just drink some lemon water and I just kind of breathe in all of that good, just feeling for the day. Basically, it sets up my day. The other thing that I do to clear my energy is I make my bed in the morning, because making your bed in the morning, well, one of the things is it signals your brain that, you're creating one small task and you're putting yourself into action. It sets you up for success for the rest of the day. And studies have proved that if you make your bed in the morning, you have better sleep at night, because it signals your brain that you're done for like in the morning. You're like, make your bed and it's time to be up and ready, and open the curtains and let some light in, like do all of these things to kind of set yourself up for a good day. Another thing that I do, is I will take and I will wipe down something in the morning. I usually wipe down my bathroom. I just take a Clorox wipe and I just quickly wipe down my bathroom. And while I'm wiping down my bathroom, I'm thinking of all the things that I'm grateful for. So I'm putting myself in that energy for cleaning and clearing my space. Because the thing is when we have clutter in our physical surroundings, then it's hard for us to be in an aligned state, because we're stressed out because of the environment that we're in when it's dirty or cluttered or all of that. And it's hard to be in an alignment, and it makes it hard to embody our warrior self, because those are mental stressors that are weighing us down. So I try to eliminate those mental stresses first thing in the morning. I'm setting myself up for success so that I'm having a good day. I also pick a word that day that I want to embody, and so that I can remember all throughout the day that day I am embodying joy. Today was joy. I go to joy a lot, actually. Because I feel like we should always be embodying joy, because we're here to live a happy life. And if we're not embodying joy, what else are we embodying? Is it stress? Is it, whatever? And so anyway, joy is my word for today. Let's see. Okay. All right. The next step is that we're actually we're setting ourselves up to create our our warrior self, to basically embody our warrior self. But to do that, we've got to remember the vision that we've set up for ourselves. So one of the things that I like to do in the morning is I like to make some tea, and I turn on music in my kitchen and I blast it, like really empowering music. A lot of the time it's like the warrior anthem I wrote and a couple other songs that I wrote that remind me of who I am. And I play them and I blast them through the house and I dance and I sing along with them. And I'm setting myself up, like I said, to have a joyful day because I'm starting it out with fun. Like I love to dance and sing and play. So I'm starting with that playful energy. And so it's helping anchor in again who I am. Something my mom does though for her in the morning to anchor in her warrior self, she will take and before she even gets out of bed, she'll lay in bed when she wakes up and she just keeps her eyes closed and she just lays there for a few minutes while she's still waking up, and she'll visualize her warrior self. And then after she does her visualization, she'll get up and do her other things. I like to do that visualization at night, right before I go to bed. For me, I prefer to do the dancing and powering up and talking to myself in the mirror and all of those things during the day. But it doesn't really matter when you do that. What you do in the morning to build yourself up or what you do at night. I personally like to have a morning up, power up, and then a morning, like just kind of like a visualization meditation type thing. And we kind of talked about that in our last video. Let's see. Okay. When you are embodying your warrior self, you're going to have some days like I did today where you struggle and you are struggling to remember your warrior self. Well, there's some things you can do. You can have some good friends like I do that you tell your vision to for your warrior self, and they will keep you on track and remind you of who you are. If you're really having a huge breakdown, I like to save that if I'm like really just freaking out on a daily. I will, if I'm having some kind of something, I can do it really quick now. In the beginning, it used to take me a while to shift my energy because I was still practicing. And I was still like, it took a while to train my brain to embody what I wanted to embody. And even still today, I'm still practicing. I'm not perfect because my kids, my husband, they will tell me on a regular basis, Mom, that's not who you are. That's not who you want to embody. This is what you should be doing. Practice what you preach. And I'm like, yes, you're right. And thank you for the reminder. So a quick way to shift your energy, though, if you're stuck and you're stuck in a low vibration emotion, then you can get up and move. Movement is so good because that changes it's a state change and it can change your state really quickly. Another thing is speaking words of life to yourself. I love to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself all the positive things about me. And you can anchor it, like remember with your anchoring it in with the 5 senses. Like mine is, like I said, orange. So I have orange oil. I have orange juice that I'll use, and I'll sniff it and I'll taste it, and I'll just touch. I'll put on my orange oil. I'll put it on, and then let's see. Smell it, taste it, touch. Here. When I will, quite often I do all of those things while well, actually, I use chocolate. I will use orange juice sometimes if I don't have chocolate, but I like chocolate for my visualization for my warrior self. That's my taste thing. I don't know. I started when I was in chemo. Like when I was going through chemo, somebody gave me an orange essential oil. And so I started using that one for my smelling and my whatever. But I would just like that chocolate. I had it and it was just kind of a little like, I don't know why I anchored it that in with chocolate and not orange juice. But anyway, I now can do it with both, either one. So, oh, deep breathing is a good way to shift your energy. And another thing is that when you are creating ways for you to embody your warrior self, you can do any of these things that I've talked about with your visualization, you know, singing and dancing your who you are, speaking words of life to yourself, any of those things, or deep breathing while you're visualizing yourself. But the thing is you also need to set up some rules, and they create safety and boundaries for yourself. If you have rules that are your non-negotiables, right? The things that you're like, you know what? I am not, from now on, I'm not going to do these things anymore. And I'm not going to be this person anymore. And these are the rules. Like for me, one of my rules is I always keep my commitments. If I commit to something, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it and I'm going to be there unless I have a good excuse. So that's one of my rules. Another one of my rules is that I am always daily going to be embodying my warrior self. Somehow, in some way, I'm going to do some kind of, if I can't do all of my things, because sometimes days get busy, right? And sometimes I can't do my meditation at night. I'm just so tired that I could, but I'm just so tired. I want to go to sleep. So I just crawl into bed and go to sleep and don't do my visualization. But I make sure every morning it is my non-negotiable that every morning I'm powering myself up and reminding myself of that warrior self. I am taking time to dance and sing my song and look at myself in the mirror and tell myself words of life. Those are very important to me now because they became, for me, I truly believe that they're the reason that I am still living today. Because I take the time to see me for who I really am and not see me for the person that, well, my internal villain wants to make me out to be. And the more that you can embody that warrior, the less the villain will talk. Okay? I promise. And then you'll be able to create your calm. So another thing that I do each day is I create a space of calm. And the calm that I create is just basically releasing the crap of the day. And because your peace matters, you don't need to hold on to all of that stuff that happened through the day, those things that stressed you out, the stuff that, whatever. It's not yours to hold on to. You can release it. And the more you practice releasing it, the more that your internal GPS is going to direct towards joy. So something that I do, so I have two different types of ways that I create calm. I have a release that I do at the very end of the day. And that's either a journaling practice or I have little things that I say to myself. I believe that we can command our bodies and our minds and different parts of our bodies to do what we want it to do. Because like our brains are like supercomputers. So why can't we program them and command them with things? So if I want to feel unconditional love, I will actually command it into my being. I will command myself to feel unconditional love. And a bunch of other cool things too. You can command yourself to do anything you want and to feel anything you want. It's like, all right, when I want to embody joy, right? The whole day I tell myself, today I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to be joyful. I think about having joy. If I find myself not finding joy in something, I'm like, well, how can I find joy in this? And I think about it consciously all the time throughout the day. And then I find myself having joy that day. Today, yeah, I had some breakdowns. I had some stuff where I didn't find joy. But then at the end of the day, I came back and I found joy again. So it's okay. When you have those, like I said, those times, you just need to forgive yourself and move on, because this is practice. Okay, so what do I do in the morning to kind of create a calm space for me? I'll stretch for about 10-15 minutes in the morning, depending. And I'll just do a little stretching routine and some intentional breathing so that I can put myself in alignment at the beginning of the day. And then in the evening, I will do like a little meditation and a little breathing exercise, and I'll do my visualization. So again, I'm just kind of de-stressing and like, you know, getting rid of the day. Another thing that sometimes I'll do if I need a little extra is I'll do some self-care, because that's another way to put yourself back into alignment. The important thing is that you are making it a priority, your peace. Your peace matters above everything else. So if you get anything out of this, I want you to know that your peace matters. And the way to create your peace is by daily embodiment and creating routines that help you embody that person that you want to be. So, like I said before, your mission, okay, is to launch your lifestyle. It's to decide how you're going to embody a warrior, and you're going to do a daily routine of some type of clearing and some type of creating and some kind of calm. Okay, so we'll go over clearing again. Clearing the energy, cleaning a space in your home, clearing clutter, journaling, doing some kind of clearing your emotions out of your head, journaling. Let's see. What else? Oh, opening a window, like, and letting in some fresh air to kind of change out the energy, to change the air, because I don't know. I kind of believe that if you have stagnant air, it kind of creates a stagnant energy in your house. And I like to have that fresh, clean. So I'm always clearing out the air in my house all the time. The other thing is doing some type of creation. Okay. You can be doing where you are creating a space for alignment with the daily practices of what you're doing to embody your warrior self. So you can dance and you can sing and sing the song I wrote. Write your own song. Or you can just you could write down your warrior self and have like a little thing that you can sing each day. Or just say it to yourself in the mirror. Any way that you do it, the technique doesn't matter. What matters is that you are getting those positive things in your head, the positive things that you think about yourself, the positive things that you want to embody, that you're getting them in your head in the morning, and that you're creating that. Okay. And that you're also creating some type of environment that is going to help you with creating that calm, joyful person that's not all stressed out all the time. Let's see what else the calm. Yes. Make sure that you're doing some kind of exercise to, like, some kind of self-care or some type of meditation or stretching or some kind of thing that helps you feel at peace. Wherever you find your peace, do that thing. I like meditation, and that really helps me with a meditation. And if you're watching this video and you would like to have access to my meditation, go ahead and message me or leave a comment below the video. If you're watching this later on YouTube. Yeah. So I love this quote by Dale Carnegie, and it says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. Action. If you can get anything out of this, take action today in embodying your warrior self, and know that you are loved and know that you are enough. And let's see. I basically recapped the video already for you guys. Remember that if you keep fighting against your body and you keep fighting against those internal beliefs, instead of just sitting there and sitting with them, pausing for a minute, like I said, when you have a belief come up that you are not enough, pause for a moment, acknowledge it, figure out where it's coming from, and then shift it and reframe it. Okay. Because our thoughts are electric. They are our blueprint for creating who we are. They really are. And our feelings are magnetic, and they attract what we want in our life. If you are feeling shame and guilt, you're going to attract more shame and guilt. If you are feeling joy, you're going to attract more joyful moments, because you're creating them in your head, because you have already decided ahead of time that that is who you're going to be and what you're going to embody. You've already made the decision. So once you start making the decision and you move forward to that and in that action, then the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And so, let's see. Commit to one small aligned action. Remember, practice. Don't punish yourself. Don't beat yourself up. That's not okay. That doesn't help you move forward. That just helps you keep stuck, because every time you do a behavior that you're not happy with, you're punishing yourself, and then you're telling your brain that you don't want to do whatever that is because it doesn't feel good. That's why I'm telling you to anchor in all of the things with things that feel good, like putting your oil on, eating a piece of chocolate if you want while you visualize yourself. These things help you anchor in those new beliefs, and they can create joy and create habits, and they use all of your senses so that, like I said, when that smell comes up or you taste that thing or whatever, it's like your brain, it signals your brain immediately, and then you're able to make that shift. So, yeah, I encourage you today to make some kind of routine where you're clearing your physical and emotional clutter, basically, and you're creating some type of routine for anchoring in your warrior identity. And then you're doing some kind of activity to create calm, peace, and calm. Protect your peace so that you can maintain that higher frequency. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye.